Hey, everybody. Today's guest, Catherine B. Roy, has a remarkable story of faith, healing, and hope. After doctors told her she might have only a year and a half to live, Catherine traveled to Ostrog Montessori. I'm probably getting it wrong. Montessori, I think. Anyway, seeking peace in the midst of uncertainty. There she experienced a profound encounter with God that transformed her life, restored her faith, and changed the course of her future. Today, she's joining us to share how the experience shaped her purpose and why she believes there's always hope, even in the darkest moments. So, hey, join me in welcoming Catherine. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me, Wendy.
You're welcome. And guys, you'll never believe it. She's calling all the way from near Croatia. Isn't that so much fun? I was just like, I love it. It's like sometimes I wish I could just warp through the computer and be where they're at instead of just being here in the middle Midwest where
Like
it's hot
the
in here.
other side of the globe.
So, Catherine, I would love for you to take us back to the moment where you received the news that doctors believed you might only have a year and a half to live. What was happening in your heart during that season?
Well, honestly, I didn't understand anything. I remember sitting in my living room and just crying because I couldn't understand it. It just couldn't be me. If I can take us to a journey a little bit like more in the past, I was born in former Yugoslavia, so we had the civil war during 90s, and I was a kid. I was 17 years old, and I found myself in an underground shelter for 78 days. That was the first huge transformation point when I realized that I might not live the next day, and I don't know how my life is going to unfold. I promise that I will be the light in this world. So when the war was over, I believed that was the key moment and the transformation. And then the illness came.
So you survive a war, then you get told, hey, by the way, it's a different kind of war. It's a war with your health. And so
Yes.
then you decide to make this decision to Ostrog Monastery, where one of the most difficult times of your life. What drew you there, and what did you experience that changed everything?
Yes, it's a monastery which is actually very, if I may say, famous for healing.
Okay.
It's on the top of the mountains of the Montenegro. That's a small country next to Croatia and Serbia.
Okay.
And doctors couldn't give me the diagnosis. Like it was a Coxsackie virus, which was found out very late. So it demolished my system and especially heart. And my mom just came one morning and she said, "We're going to Montenegro." And I was like, I don't know if I have strength to walk to the bathroom and not to travel to Montenegro, but she was so persistent, you know? And I said yes. Before that, I was a very scientific person. I was a programmer, I was in scientific center, and I just did it because my mom asked me to, and I believed her. So when we went there, something happened the first night. I was sleeping outside under the sky. So I didn't go inside of the monastery where people sleep, but there is a tradition. If you would like to sleep outside, you will feel better. So I said, okay, let's do that. And something woke me up that night. It was like a purple golden light, and I was convinced that I was dreaming. And it told me, you have to move. It's going to be a storm. So I woke up my mom and my boyfriend, now husband, and I said, we have to move, we have to move. And they looked at the sky and it was perfectly clear. And they were like, you were just sleeping. No. Yes, we have to move, we have to move. And for me, it was a second when I was so persistent and we moved the huge storm, and it looked like the sky opened up and so much water was just floating everywhere. So I was completely like in shock because I couldn't understand back then. I was maybe 24 years old. And I said, well, okay, something is happening. So I couldn't sleep anymore, of course. And at 5 in the morning, I went to a room where there are relics of Saint Vasily, and people go there to pray. We didn't tell anyone that I was ill. I mean, the monks or anyone. And when I was standing in front of the door, the monk who opened the door just stopped everyone, and he invited only me inside. It would be nice if I don't cry this time when I tell this story. So I went inside, and he looked at me, and he placed his palm on my head, and he said the words which completely changed my life. Nothing bad is going to happen. Everything will be okay. This world needs love, and you are love. And I was on my knees. I remember, a cold stone floor. It was hurting me to be on my knees, and I was crying, and it felt like eternity. I was just crying and crying and crying. And I went back to Novi Sad. I did the medical tests again, and I was perfectly healthy.
Wow.
So healthy that my cardiologist was looking up for me for the next 10 years after that. But here I am. That was definitely a miracle healing journey.
That's really amazing. And so that was really probably your first encounter with our creator to work through someone for healing.
Yes.
And looking back now, how did that experience reshape not only your faith, but also your understanding of God's purpose for your life?
It's changed everything. I found my purpose. I didn't understand what happened at that moment, so I started researching, and I went and learned a kind of Vietnamese healing modality just to see how it works. Like, my mind was so much into science that but from that moment, I absolutely believe. And it changed everything, not only for that, but because I started writing about that. I started a blog, then I published a book. Book became a bestseller. I found my purpose to help people to do what they love, left a corporation. And since 2016, I'm working on my own. And I absolutely am sure, and I do believe that I found a purpose, and that I'm walking on my path, which is meant for me, like a channel of divine guidance. And after that, they actually diagnosed me that I will never be a mom. But I did the same thing again. I went to Ostrog again, and I went to Greece, to Tassos Island, to Monastery of Saint Archangel Michael. And now I'm a mom of a 9 or 10 years old boy, who came absolutely naturally. So, yeah.
Don't you just love it? I was actually just talking to someone today about someone that she knows that was told that there is no cure for what happened to her. And it's amazing to me how people will so quickly believe what has been told to them. What do you have to say to those who've been told there is no cure for whatever it is? The spectrum is endless, because we know that we get told that all the time, regardless of what it is. What do you have to say to those people who have lost hope that there is a cure for their situation?
I believe the same, and now I believe it's only a limiting belief. I'm also a Mensa member, so my mind is very, very strong, and that didn't help me in my life at all.
Sure.
So what I strongly believe is that human intelligence and mind are very limited. And I do respect medical professionals and all of that, of course. But there is always another way. If we look, what if a perception is actually wrong? What if we build the whole science on the wrong hypothesis? We don't know that. And I believe what Socrates said, that I know that I don't know anything, is the best way to go, and just to allow God to show us the way. It really depends if we are, on this journey of healing or the journey of dealing with illness a long time. It depends on which stage it is. But whatever stage it is, I really believe there is something greater than us. And there is always a hope. And I believe that our body is a perfect mechanism that can heal itself. But we need to allow that. And if we believe when someone tells us that there is no cure, there is not going to be a cure. But I believed my mom that morning. I believed when the monk told me what he told me. I really did. So yeah, I would just say, don't ever lose hope. There is always a way.
So I don't know who had said this, but whether you believe it is or it isn't, you're right.
Exactly.
So because the mind, you being Mensa, having a Mensa mind, it can get in the way.
Exactly. And it did. And it did.
And so, it's funny. So often we want to understand. Like you said, you were a very science-based person. You wanted everything. You believed A plus B equals C, or you could figure out the formula or whatever. But there is no figuring out the complexity of what our creator, our God, can do. Because
Exactly.
he's all knowing. He literally is all knowing. Even in your brilliant mind, it's still limited.
Exactly.
And that's okay. You don't have to know everything. It just means that, hey, maybe be open to the fact that there is a possibility that you are healed.
Exactly. And like a month ago or 2 months ago in Belgrade, in Serbia, there was visiting a relic, a belt of Mary Magdalene, the mother of Jesus, which was there like 600 years ago. So I went, and there were like millions of people just waiting for the blessing, right? I don't go deep into religion. I believe that everyone has the right to believe in what they want, but I felt that I have to be there. And I was waiting for 5 hours to just enter close to the belt, which she was wearing when she was like pregnant with Jesus. That's the story. Okay. And I did. And something in me opened up again. And I heard, like, "You're my child, don't worry. The path will be shown." Because I was thinking about, should I go this way or that way? What shall I do? I was like, again, looping in my mind. And like 2 days ago, the path showed up. So I really do believe, like, from someone who survived war, who survived that kind of illness, who became a mom after diagnosed infertility and 2 unsuccessful in vitros, I really can say from my own experience, there is something which is taking care of us. We just need to be open and to allow that force to just live in us.
Right. Oh, it's beautiful. And I do believe that, he, even those who choose not to acknowledge his existence, he's right there saying, I'm here.
Yes.
Here. All I gotta do is say, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
And then we can receive it. One of my business mentor last week, he goes, isn't it just like us for God to shower us with blessings, for us to put up the umbrella?
Exactly.
And it's like, we stop the flow of what he wants to do in and through us, just either through our unbelief, our refusal to acknowledge something beyond ourselves, or that, maybe we don't know everything, and it's okay to not know everything.
Exactly. And I was just a little bit confused, like, what am I going to do now? Like, I was a programmer, I'm a business coach. It's nothing like divine in that, right? It sounds like very scientific again. But then again, the path was shown because my purpose is to help people do what they love. And we spent like 2/3 of our life working and doing things. So if we can help people to open up and be free in every single possible way, then there is a purpose, right? So even in these like very like stiffy kind of things that we do, like programming or business, you would think there is nothing nice in that, right? But there is. We can always find something which can help other people, and this way we are serving not just ourselves, them also, and the whole humanity.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So, you often speak of hope, peace, and faith. Why do you believe those messages are especially important to people facing life's impossible moments?
Everything is about hope, peace, and faith, especially after living these difficult years during the bombing of former Yugoslavia and poverty and sanctions and all of that. My main goal in life is peace. If we're not in peace with ourselves, we're not going to be in peace with anyone else. And I think that ego driven people are actually making conflicts, and everything that is happening now, it's because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's our responsibility as awakened ones to give people hope and to give them love and to show them the way that actually things can be much better and life can be much better, because I see myself as a living proof of that.
Right. That's awesome. Through your work and your published book, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about healing, resilience, and trusting God through suffering?
I think people are afraid. People are afraid of everything unknown. And on one side, we can choose to believe, or we can choose to allow fear to guide us. And if we choose belief, the opportunities, the right people, everything will show up. But if the fear is guiding us, everything else will fall apart. So I say to people always, fear is just a mechanism of our brain to keep us safe. So I always choose to believe.
That's so awesome. So, as you continue sharing your story around the world, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave, and what change do you pray your message creates in the lives of others?
Well, everything is temporary and there is always a way. And I always say the universe lives in our heart. And if we want to expand the universe, we need to expand our heart. Then we became the creators of our lives and we can do and be whoever we want.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Uh, for someone listening today who feels overwhelmed by fear or just has received heartbreaking news, what would you want them to know about God's presence in the middle of uncertainty?
As much as it sounds like something which can fit in these situations, everything happens for a reason and everything happens for us. And from these difficult situations I lived from, I experienced the biggest transformations in every positive way. So God is always with us. He is always in us, actually. And there is something we need to learn from and embrace from each of these situations.
This is so awesome. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your heart and reminding us that even when circumstances seem impossible, God is never absent. Your testimony is a beautiful picture of hope, perseverance, and faith that refuses to give up. To everyone listening, if Catherine's story encouraged you today, be sure to connect with her and learn more about her work and continue following the message she is sharing. Most importantly, remember that no diagnosis, disappointment, or difficult season is beyond God's ability to redeem. And Catherine, can you remind everybody how they can connect with you? Do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website, catherinebiroy.com, but LinkedIn might be the best
Okay.
place. I'm always on LinkedIn.
Nice. Well, again, everybody, until next time, and keep pursuing healing, walking in wholeness, and living life fully in the calling that God has placed in your life. Till next time, thank you.
Bye bye.